Welcome to the Deep Dive. Ready to explore Tata Power's 2024 annual report with me?
Always excited to dive into these reports,
Hmm.
especially one from a company like Tata Power that's really making waves in India's clean energy space.
Yeah, and they're not just dipping their toes in, they've been India's top solar rooftop company for 9 years straight.
9 years, that's a statement for sure. They're clearly committed to solar, and the numbers back it up. The report highlights 597 megawatts of new rooftop solar capacity added just last year.
597 megawatts. That's impressive. What's even more impressive is the 4.9 gigawatts they have under construction.
Right, it's like they're building a solar empire. And they're not just stopping at installations, they're innovating too. Have you heard of their self-survey solution?
I haven't. Tell me more.
Well, it's this cool thing where customers can actually use their smartphones to assess their roofs for solar installations.
So they're making it easier and faster for people to go solar. I like it.
Exactly. It's all about breaking down barriers and making the transition to clean energy as seamless as possible.
Makes sense. But let's get down to brass tacks. How's all this green focus impacting their bottom line?
Well, let's just say their financials are looking pretty healthy. They pulled in a revenue of 61,542 crore and a PAT, or profit after tax, of 4,280 crore.
Okay, so they're not just doing good, they're doing well. An 11.7% return on equity is nothing to sneeze at either.
Definitely not. And it suggests that their investments in renewables are paying off. Investors seem to agree too. Their market cap has now crossed 1.25 lakh crore.
So green and profitable, that's a winning combination. Now, I'm curious about something. The report mentions a 2.7% reduction in AT&C losses in Odisha. What exactly are AT&C losses?
Good question. AT&C stands for Aggregate Technical and Commercial Losses. Basically, it's the electricity lost during transmission and distribution due to things like theft, technical issues, and billing inefficiencies.
So reducing those losses means more efficient delivery of electricity.
Exactly. And it benefits everyone. The company saves money and less energy is wasted.
Win-win. They also achieved a 99.9% transmission availability, which I assume means their grid is super reliable.
You got it. They're ensuring that the lights stay on, which is crucial as they expand their customer base. Speaking of which, did you see they've opened a new solar module manufacturing plant in Tamil Nadu?
A 4-gigawatt plant, right. That's massive. Why build their own when they could just buy modules from suppliers?
Smart move, actually. Yeah. It gives them more control over the supply chain, helps them scale their operations more efficiently, and potentially reduces costs in the long run. They're thinking long term.
Makes sense. And they're going to need a lot of solar modules to reach their ambitious goal of serving 40 million customers in the next 5 years.
40 million. It's a bold target. But they're already serving a significant chunk, 7.69 lakh in Mumbai, 20.26 lakh in Delhi, 1.66 lakh in Ajmer, and a whopping 95.08 lakh in Odisha.
Wow, those are some big numbers. But with all that customer data, data privacy has to be a major concern, right?
Absolutely, and the report highlights that Tata Power is taking data protection very seriously. They reported 0 consumer data breaches, leaks, or thefts in 2024.
That's reassuring to hear, especially in this day and age when data breaches are becoming all too common.
They've implemented a robust data privacy policy and invested in security measures to safeguard customer information. It's good to see them being proactive.
Agreed. Now let's talk about the role of the government in all of this. How is the Indian government supporting the growth of solar energy?
The government is playing a crucial role. In fact, just last year, India added 3 gigawatts of rooftop solar.
3 gigawatts, that's a huge jump. What's driving that growth?
Well, there's a big push for solar from the government. They've set an ambitious target of 40 gigawatts of rooftop solar by 2026.
Ambitious indeed. Are there any specific government programs helping them get there?
Yes, there are. One notable program is the PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. It aims to help 1 crore households, that's 10 million, install solar panels.
Wow, 10 million households. That's a massive undertaking. And the government has allocated 75,000 crore for this scheme.
Right. They're putting their money where their mouth is. They're creating a favorable environment for solar, which is great news for companies like Tata Power.
It sounds like Tata Power is riding a wave of government support and their own green ambitions. But are they doing anything truly groundbreaking to push the boundaries of clean energy?
Oh, absolutely. They're not just adopting existing tech, they're developing their own cutting-edge solutions. For instance, they're working on an EV fleet monitoring platform.
An EV fleet monitoring platform? What's that all about?
Think of it as a way to manage electric vehicle fleets more efficiently. It tracks energy consumption, battery status, and even integrates with smart charging systems to optimize charging and costs.
So they're getting ready for a future where EVs rule the roads.
Precisely. And that's not all. They're also collaborating with Imperial College in the UK on something called an Automated Demand Response Program.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's that?
It's a program that helps homeowners save energy by automatically adjusting their appliances based on real-time energy prices and grid conditions.
So it's like a smart energy management system for homes.
Exactly, and it's already making a difference. The program is helping 700 homes in Delhi and Mumbai save up to 10% on their energy bills.
That's fantastic. So it's a win for consumers' wallets and a win for the environment.
Absolutely. It's a great example of how Tata Power is using technology to create more sustainable energy solutions.
I'm really impressed with their commitment to innovation. And speaking of innovation, remember that self-survey solution for solar rooftops we talked about earlier?
The one with the smartphones.
Yeah, that one. It's not just convenient, it's also a smart way to use technology to streamline the process of going stellar.
Agreed. And they're not stopping there. They've even filed a patent for smart AC technology that could significantly reduce energy consumption.
Smart ACs. Tell me more.
Imagine an AC that intelligently adjusts its cooling based on factors like room occupancy, temperature preferences, and even real-time energy prices.
That's brilliant. It could have a huge impact on energy savings.
It could. And it's a perfect example of how Tata Power is thinking outside the box to find innovative solutions for a more sustainable future.
I'm really seeing how they're weaving together their commitment to green energy, customer centricity, and technological innovation.
It's impressive how they're walking the talk.
Now, before we move on to their employee-focused initiatives, I'm curious about their approach to risk management. With such ambitious goals and a rapidly evolving landscape, how are they managing potential risks?
That's a great question. And the report does address their risk management strategy.
Yeah.
They've adopted a comprehensive approach, starting with integrating internal financial controls into their risk control matrix.
So they're being proactive about financial risk management. But what about risks related to climate change? That's a major concern for any company in the energy sector.
You're absolutely right. And the report acknowledges the risks associated with climate change. They're looking at both transitional risks, like potential policy changes related to carbon emissions, and physical risks, such as extreme weather events that could disrupt their operations.
So they're not just ignoring the elephant in the room, they're acknowledging the potential challenges and taking steps to address them.
Exactly. They're actively developing mitigation strategies
Right.
and incorporating them into their business continuity plans. They're also looking at ways to leverage their expertise in renewable energy to adapt to a changing climate. For instance, they're investing in microgrids and energy storage solutions that can provide backup power during grid outages caused by extreme weather.
It's reassuring to see a company taking climate change seriously and taking concrete steps to address the potential challenges.
They understand that sustainability isn't just about doing good. It's also about ensuring the long-term viability of their business in a world that's increasingly vulnerable to climate change.
Well said. Now, before we delve into their employee-focused initiatives, let's take a quick look at how they're engaging with their stakeholders. A company this large is bound to have a wide range of stakeholders, from investors and customers to employees and communities. How are they managing those relationships?
You're right, and the report highlights their commitment to open and transparent communication with all their stakeholders. They're using a variety of channels to keep everyone informed, including media briefings, press releases, marketing communications, and regular dialogue.
So they're not just talking at their stakeholders, they're actively listening and seeking feedback.
Exactly. They understand that strong relationships with their stakeholders are essential for building trust and achieving their sustainability goals.
It's like a two-way street. They're sharing information and listening to feedback, creating a collaborative approach to sustainable growth. Now, let's shift our focus to their employees. How is Tata Power investing in its workforce and creating a positive work environment?
That's a great segue. The report dedicates a significant portion to outlining their approach to employee engagement and development. They seem to understand that a company is only as strong as its people.
I'm intrigued. Let's dive into that in more detail. What specific initiatives are they undertaking to support their employees and foster a culture of growth and innovation?
Well, that's a topic worthy of its own deep dive, so let's save that for part 2 of our exploration. We'll unpack their talent acquisition strategies, diversity and inclusion initiatives, and their unique approach to aligning employee engagement with their sustainability goals.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. We've covered a lot of ground already, but it's clear that Tata Power is a company with a multifaceted approach to sustainability, from clean energy and technological innovation to customer centricity and stakeholder engagement. I'm eager to hear more about their employee-focused initiatives in the next part.
I'm looking forward to it as well. We'll be back soon to continue our deep dive into Tata Power's 2024 annual report. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Remember how we were saying Tata Power's employee initiatives almost deserve their own deep dive?
Yeah, you said it felt like a whole separate conversation.
It does. It's more than just policies. It's like they've created this whole integrated approach to employee experience.
Okay, color me intrigued. Where does this holistic approach begin?
Well, they start with attracting top-notch talent. In 2024, they hired 872 young trainees from all these prestigious institutions across India.
872 new trainees. That's quite an influx. Are they just filling vacancies, or is there a bigger strategy at play?
Oh, it's definitely strategic. The report outlines their recruit, ready, engage, and excel strategy. So it's not just about bringing people in. It's about setting them up for success from day one.
So onboarding, training, and making them feel like part of the team.
Exactly. They have structured programs and initiatives to ensure these new recruits can hit the ground running. And it's not just entry-level positions either.
Oh, what about more experienced hires?
They have the Emerging Leaders Program, or ELP, which focuses on developing high-potential employees for leadership roles. It's a 4-month program designed to ensure a smooth transition of leadership within the company.
It's like they're investing in their future leaders. That's smart.
Very smart. And alongside nurturing talent, they're also putting a lot of emphasis on diversity and inclusion. For example, their retention rate for women officers is a perfect 100%.
100%. That's amazing. It shows they've created an environment where women can truly thrive.
It does. And overall, their gender diversity rate for officers is 14%. Not perfect, but they are making progress. 20% of their new officers in 2024 were women, which is a positive sign.
Definitely encouraging to see that. So it's not just about gender diversity, right?
Right. It's about creating a workplace where everyone feels valued, respected, and included, no matter their background.
Absolutely. Now let's bring it back to sustainability.
Yeah.
How are they connecting their employee engagement with their broader sustainability goals?
Okay, so picture this. They have this program called Climate Crew Employee Changemaker. It's all about empowering employees to be champions for the environment, not just at work, but in their personal lives too.
So it's like embedding sustainability into the company culture.
Exactly. Yeah. And it aligns perfectly with India's mission life, which focuses on individual and collective action for environmental protection.
So they're not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk. And they're encouraging their employees to do the same.
Exactly. It's really cool. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about safety buzzer. Tata Power is aiming for a zero-injury workplace, which is a pretty ambitious goal.
It is ambitious. How are they going about achieving that?
Well, they're not just relying on traditional safety measures. They're using cutting-edge technology like drones, robotics, AI, and even virtual reality for safety training.
Wow, that's impressive. It sounds like they're pulling out all the stops.
They are. And for high-risk activities, they're implementing safe systems to minimize hazards. They also have medical centers at all their work sites with trained occupational physicians, so employees have immediate access to quality medical care.
So they're prepared for any eventuality.
Yes, and they're proactive too. They have an annual calendar of mandatory health checkups for all employees. They're really looking after their people.
It sounds like they're taking a holistic approach to well-being. Both physical and mental health are important.
Absolutely. Now, I'm curious about how this people-centric approach ties into their overall sustainability strategy. Do they see a connection between employee well-being and environmental performance?
That's a great question. I'd love to explore that further. How about we delve into that connection in more detail after a quick break?
Sounds good to me. We'll be back soon to uncover how Tata Power minimizes its environmental impact and involves its employees in these efforts.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Ready to wrap up our exploration of Tata Power and their sustainability journey?
Definitely. Let's pick up where we left off, exploring the link between employee well-being and environmental performance.
You mentioned their comprehensive approach to environmental management with a robust environmental management system in place.
Right, a robust EMS or environmental management system. It's basically a framework that helps organizations identify, manage, and minimize their impact on the environment.
Okay, but how does that work in practice? What does an EMS actually do?
It covers a wide range of things. Everything from reducing emissions and waste to conserving water and protecting biodiversity. Tata Power's EMS aligns with international standards like ISO 14001, JISQ 14001, and EMAS.
So they're not just setting their own standards, they're aligning with global best practices.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they're serious about tracking their progress. They use metrics like the Environmental Compliance Index, or ECI, and the Environmental Performance Index, or EPI, to measure their environmental performance.
It's like they're holding themselves accountable with data. I like that. Can you give us some specific examples of how this translates into real-world action?
Sure, take water management, for instance. They're really committed to minimizing freshwater consumption across all their operations.
Water is such a precious resource, especially in India.
Absolutely. They're focusing on efficient design and operations and maximizing water collection and treatment. They even highlight their efforts in using treated wastewater, which is a great way to conserve freshwater resources.
So it's not just about reducing water usage, it's about using it more responsibly.
Exactly. And this approach extends to their renewable energy projects, too. They have a specific environmental due diligence, or EDD, process for these projects.
What does that involve? What are they looking for when assessing the environmental impact of these projects?
They consider a whole range of factors, like proximity to wildlife protected areas, eco-sensitive zones, faunal corridors, even groundwater status. They want to ensure their projects don't harm the surrounding ecosystems.
That's a very holistic approach. They're
Yeah.
thinking about the big picture.
They are. Now, on the topic of ecosystems, they have a strong commitment to biodiversity conservation. They've even committed to no net loss of biodiversity, which is a pretty bold statement.
How do they back up that statement? It seems like a tough goal for a company operating at their scale.
You're right, it's ambitious,
Right.
but they're taking it seriously. In 2024, they worked with CII-ABI to study 85 renewable energy locations to develop a no net loss to biodiversity plan.
So they're using science and research to guide their actions.
Yes. And they're also participating in a pilot assessment for the Task Force for Nature-Related Financial Disclosures, or TNFD.
Hmm.
It helps them assess their nature-related risks and opportunities.
They're really trying to understand their impact on the natural world. I'm impressed.
Me too.
Yeah.
And their efforts aren't limited to big projects.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the Tree Metro initiative?
Yeah, the employee-led tree planting program.
It's a fantastic way to get employees involved in promoting afforestation. They encourage everyone to plant trees, especially native species.
It's a simple action, but it can have a big impact.
Absolutely. And their long-term partnership with Maharashtra's Forest Department is another testament to their dedication. Since 1979, they've been working together to increase green cover and fight soil erosion.
That's a long-standing commitment to environmental conservation. Now, I want to touch on their social impact initiatives. They seem to be doing a lot in that area, too.
They are. It's clear they're not just focused on the environment. They want to make a positive social impact as well.
What are some of their key programs in this area?
They have a program called Adhikar, which promotes financial inclusion and digital literacy in marginalized communities. Really important work, especially today.
I agree. Access to financial services and digital literacy is crucial in today's world.
Right. Then they have Pay Attention, an initiative focused on autism spectrum disorder. They've trained public workers and organizations to better understand and support individuals with autism.
It's wonderful that they're raising awareness and promoting inclusion.
And their Roshni program offers vocational training to young people, preparing them for green jobs. They're connecting their social impact with their sustainability goals.
It's a win-win, creating opportunities and promoting sustainability.
Exactly. And then there's Anoka Daga, supporting women's collectives and setting up microenterprises. And their URJA program, which provides infrastructure support to schools and underserved communities.
So many impactful initiatives. It's really inspiring.
It is. Tata Power is truly setting a great example. They're proving that a company can be successful while also making a positive difference in the world.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are your final thoughts? What stood out to you the most about Tata Power?
It's their holistic approach. They've woven together so many different aspects: clean energy, customer focus, innovation, employee well-being, social impact. It's not just a checklist for them. It's truly embedded in their DNA.
It's like a symphony of sustainability where all the parts come together beautifully.
Well said. And with India's growing energy needs, Tata Power is in a prime position to lead the way. They're not just keeping up with change, they're driving it.
It's an exciting time for the Indian energy sector, and Tata Power is at the forefront. Well, I think we've covered just about everything, from their financials to their green initiatives, their employee programs, and their social impact. It's been a fascinating journey.
It has. I hope our listeners feel like they've gotten a good look inside Tata Power. They're doing some truly impressive work.
We encourage everyone to check out their full annual report and website. There's so much more to discover.
And until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.